Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 18th Free Friday Lunch webinar that we present on a monthly basis. We started in 2022. Today about how to improve my motivation. And you might have noticed, but please do note, if you haven't, that today's session is recorded. Right, for those of you who don't know me, I head up an organization called Soldati, the Southern African Leadership Development and Training Institute, where we believe in growing leaders and impacting results. Because if we don't impact results, then we are wasting time and money, and more specifically, yours, our clients. We also acquired a company called Soft Skill Solutions a while back. If you go to that website link under Growth Solutions, you can view what we do there, specifically in relation to soft skills masterclass that we present, not only at our training facility in Rampart Ridge, but also at your facilities or virtually, if you access soldati.com. And those are the ones we typically, we started off with, and in 2024, we're looking forward to rolling that out. A couple of your housekeeping matters. First of all, once again, thank you for joining us. Please mute unless you want to ask a question. I tried to target 25 minutes presentation and 5 minutes of Q&A afterwards. And please mail me if you want me to add you to our monthly distribution list. Alternatively, please register, and I'll get to it at the end, on our website for the next webinar. And then please mail me if you want a copy urgently of today's recording. And then very importantly, please mail me with future topics. I very seldomly get people to share with me what their real needs are. And that to me is important, because I would like to present to you what are the content that might add value in your lives and the lives of your employees. Right, so just a couple of disclaimers. First of all, I don't have a magic wand. If your expectation of today is that all of a sudden you're going to absolutely have mastered motivation, please, I might just disappoint you. In fact, I will disappoint you. But what I would like to do, and what I'm trying to do also through the research that I do before these sessions, is to give you different perspectives around how to tackle the content, and in the hope that it might pave the way to you living life differently better as far as the content's concerned and the topic's concerned. And then again, I'm not a psychologist. I do have a very keen interest in psychology, but what I do is not psychology. I'm a leadership development and leadership consultant. I've got a PhD in personal and professional leadership, and I just want to put that out there as well. And then a final disclaimer: today is not about team motivation, which is a topic that I very much love and that I do with teams of companies. I have a keen interest in that, talking about keen interest, but today is about personal motivation, getting your motivation to the point where it should be, or where you would like to see it be. And then if you've missed any of our previous Free Friday Lunch webinars, you might want to go and view all those recordings. You go to resources, under the resources tab, there's the Insight tab, and all those recordings since September 2022, you will find there, except for December's when we don't do these sessions. And my invitation to you, very importantly, is to reflect. Gauge your performance against the topics and against the content, and especially focus on those areas where you feel that you can pick the low-hanging fruit and focus on the biggest gaps between where you would like to see yourself and where you currently find yourself in life in relation to the content. So let's kick off. Motivation defined. So that's the first definition you get when you type in the topic. And by the way, if you think you're the only person that finds it challenging, you're definitely not, because there are 257 million hits when you type in the topic of motivation. And let's just look at the highlighted area. Motivation is defined as the process whereby goal-directed activities are initiated and sustained. Here's another definition from Britannica. We look at the highlighted area. Motivation refers to rather the forces acting either on or within a person to initiate behavior. So why is motivation important? Well, if you go to verywellmind.com, they will tell you that these are the areas that represents the reason or the motivation why we want to get motivated, so to speak. First of all, it increases your efficiency as you work towards your goals. It drives you to take action. It encourages you to engage in health-oriented behaviors. Number 4, it helps you to avoid unhealthy and maladaptive behaviors such as risk-taking and addiction. And then the last 2 are, firstly, it helps you feel more in control of your life. Very importantly, that's why I've highlighted that. And then finally, it improves your overall well-being and happiness. Now, I don't know about you, but if I look at those areas and I ask myself, will I benefit from mastering or gaining them as a result? In these areas, I would absolutely, and you would agree, say yes, no question. Right. So, important reminder for all of us is that we are all unique. Why am I saying that in the context of today's topic? Well, simply to highlight the fact that what motivates you is not necessarily the same as what motivates me. And that's an important point, because we need to reflect and go and ask ourselves and list the things that do motivate you. And most people will say money, but we'll get to that. So let's unpack that a bit, especially the first part for a start, and specifically in relation to our careers. We can start off there. So if we compare the difference between intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, we get the following, again, in this case, from Indeed.com. Extrinsic motivation is when you're inspired to perform a task either to earn a reward or to avoid punishment. In the case of extrinsic motivation, you're not completing the task because you like it or find it satisfying. Instead, you're completing it because you think you'll avoid something unpleasant or you'll get something in return. And those are typically the things we look at as examples when we talk about extrinsic motivation. Let's refer to the opposite. Extrinsic motivation. That refers to feeling inspired or energized to complete the task because it's personally rewarding. In other words, you're performing the activity because of some internal drive as opposed to an external force or reward. With intrinsic motivation, the behavior itself becomes the reward. If we look at examples, we shall get back to a little bit later. That's what we're looking at. So while extrinsic motivation is helpful in certain situations, I would submit if you want to get quick short-term results, it might be very applicable. It may, though, eventually lead to burnout and loses its effectiveness over time. Intrinsic motivation is typically more effective long-term for completing tasks and achieving goals in a way that makes you feel fulfilled. Intrinsic motivation. There's even a third type that very well mined, again, another credible website, which I will only present to you in terms of credible researched blogs and information. They identify and they say that research suggests that family motivation might be a third one out of the mainstream types of motivation. Supporting your family financially as a motivator. And you might say to me, but Hekkie, I don't have a choice. I have to do this career. I have to earn the money because if I don't get it, we're in trouble. I have to focus on extrinsic motivation. In this case, I'm chasing the money. And by the way, a friend of mine said that money has 3 legs. You will never be able to catch it if that's your main driver or your main motivator. Hekkie, I have to pay the bills. I have a family to look after. So I've got no choice than to only focus on extrinsic motivational factors and specifically earning a salary or getting money. And I want to say to you in reply or in response to your statement, if you made that statement, that I kind of get it. But what I don't understand is that, and what I'm trying to think about is maybe you are adopting to a very large extent a victim mentality. Think about it. Maybe you are disempowering yourself in terms of what's possible if you only focus on the extrinsic motivator, in this case being the salary or money. Allow me to explain, please. When I published this book a couple of years ago on self-leadership, chapter 1 is very easy, the topic of chapter 1 to write or to think of, because to me, that's where it all starts. Chapter 1's topic is taking charge. And in this case, in relation to today's topic, it's about taking charge of your well-being and your happiness. You see, if you don't very much focus also on intrinsic motivation, then it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And you can tell me, how can you say that? I can attest to that. I was there. It's not sustainable. And I think the key focus is that you move your focus, or the key to achieving success from a motivational point of view is to shift your focus from extrinsic motivation to more of intrinsic motivation. And the question is, how do we create it? Well, let's look at those examples on the right. Enjoyment. What if you organize a get-together of your team once a month to start off with? Not only are you going to provide yourself more enjoyment in your career, but you're also going to do it for your team members. Let's look at a couple down. We don't have time to go through all of them. And I'm just thinking out loud. Growth. If you in your career are kind of happy, but not as motivated as you would like to be, but you also want to learn more about the rest of the business, another department potentially, ask your manager. I had a leadership coaching session last week where the coach, he told me he really would like to do job shadowing in another department, also to understand how that interlinks with his department. And I said, did you ask your line manager? He said, no, you didn't. Why not? As part of your growth journey. Couple down, passion. If your passion is to be involved in training, but actually you're doing an operational role, talk to your senior managers. Ask them if you can become a facilitator. Why not? But having said that, if we look at those examples, I think it's critical that you focus first and foremost on how can you achieve those things in your current key core role for which you have been appointed and for which you get a salary every month. So I've got no doubt you have to do yourself a massive favor. And in saying this, I'm talking to myself as well, to improve your balance between extrinsic and intrinsic motivational factors. And also to give yourself a fair chance, and to give your company a fair chance, and give your family a fair chance, as opposed to thinking, you know what, the grass must be greener on the other side. I can tell you from personal experience, it's not always the case. And rather focus on saying to yourself, the grass is greener where you water it, which might be where you are. Give yourself a fair chance. Give your career a fair chance. Give everybody else around you, like I said, a fair chance in adopting that approach. And a big part of that is focusing on more on intrinsic motivational factors. Got no doubt. But you see, motivation is much more than only about our careers. If we look at the wheel of life, there are examples. There are other aspects in our lives where we need motivation. And getting back to the video, let's just focus on 3 of those also that came out of the video that I would like to highlight that you can do to improve and increase your motivation. First one is goal setting and achievement. I don't know if you've heard of this self-directed learning cycle. And it starts with goal setting. That's where it all starts. Zig Ziglar said, if you aim at nothing, you are sure to hit it. If I set my goals in the different areas on that wheel of life, in addition to my career, but also including my career, and I then plan, self-planning, and I then execute and monitor the way I execute against those plans, against those goals. And I do, very importantly, self-evaluation that we typically do when we do reflection. One of the key themes in all the people that I do leadership coaching with is that we don't reflect enough. We don't stand still enough to get off that proverbial wheel that we run on, like a mouse or a rat on a treadmill, and to stand still and say, where am I going? Also in relation to my goals. As far as discipline is concerned, Abraham Lincoln, American president, said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Profound, that last part, and what you want most. You have to ask yourself, I have to ask myself, what do I really want in this life? What do I really want in this one life that I've been blessed with? To look back one day and say, I'm proud of myself. I've actually lived an optimal life. I've actually executed, I've listened, I've done something about my motivation in order to get to achieving my goals and what I really want out of this life quicker and better. Otherwise, ladies and gents, you're going to wipe out the stuff from your eyes, and it's going to be 5 years down the track. Believe you me, I'm 54 years old this year. Time goes past very quickly. Second thing I want to talk to you outside of our careers, but it's also obviously linked, that came out of the video, is time management. If we don't do and take time management seriously, we will always find ourselves behind the curve. You will always feel, oh, I'm not good enough. You'll always try and escape the life that you're currently living, as opposed to taking back control, taking charge to be able to operate ahead of the curve, to be able to put yourself in a position where you are projecting yourself quicker and better towards your goals. And very importantly is your routines. Pre-negotiating your routines with yourself. Because if you put that structure in place to say, on a Saturday morning, in my case, I do go and ride my motorcycle. And by the way, my family buys, and specifically my wife, because my kids are both at varsity, Marley buys into that. Because she understands how important that is for me, also in terms of keeping my motivation up. Because you see, if I've got pre-negotiated routines, then I don't need to negotiate with myself when I'm too lazy and too ill-disciplined to do it, because I know that's part of my life. But I pre-negotiate the fact that including it in my life is great, and I get the results. So it's pre-negotiated. And by the way, my wife Marley is also my accountability partner, which is something else you might want to keep in mind. Get accountability partner to assist you to stick to your routines. Tomorrow morning, I'm not going to ride my motorcycle. Marley and I are doing a race in the cradle. We're going to do as in a running race. But the point is, stick to your routines. It's important. It's critical. because that structure gives you in itself, motivates you. And the last one is simply to change your perspectives. Go and please do yourself a favor and read up on reframing. Reframing. It's so important in today's day and age. And I would suggest it starts with the way we speak. Reframe to talk about work-life balance. It's not work-life balance. Look at what it implies, in fact. If you say work-life balance, you're actually implying that everything away from work is life. And by application, you're saying work is death. I don't want to go there. And the way you speak, in changing your perspectives and reframing the way you speak is so critical. I have to go to work. No, you don't have to. I should rather say I want to go to work, because you know what? I want to make a change. I want to make a difference in wherever I operate. There are nice people, and you know what? On the 25th of the month at 8 o'clock, I get my salary as well. I have to go to the gym. No, it's disempowering. I want to go to the gym because I know it's good for me. Reframe, change your perspectives. Instead of thinking of how hard your journey is, think how great your story will be. And I can carry on and on and on. See your career as opportunity, as opposed to a drag of I just need to get this over and with, and it's all about the money. And I don't really enjoy it. Only you can change it. Only you can make the difference. Last one on reframing. Reframe stumbling blocks as stepping stones. And not in a way that you are unrealistic, no. But it's about viewing life through a positive lens in terms of the approach you take in life. You have to ask yourself, if you don't reframe things to represent positivity, and you stay and you get stuck in pessimism, negativity, ask yourself, but how does that serve me? And I'll quickly give you the answer. It doesn't. It can't. I'm finishing off before we get to Q&A. One of my favorite quotes, I think very pertinent, important. If I look at the world breaking news on Sky, every day I look at it and I look at all the chaos in the world. And I'm saying it in a positive sense, although it might not come across like that. But we live in different times. Steve Marabali said, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. And I would submit that if we can get our motivation up, then life will get easier. And we will get stronger. And we will become more resilient. The mere fact that all of you are here tells me that you are serious about this stuff. Now I'm handing the baton, so to speak, over to you. To yes, take some of this very short, concise set of content, but also research it more and do something about it. Action it in order to live life differently, better. Please register for our next free Friday lunch webinar. If you go onto our website and the Growth Solutions, you'll see that the next topic is called Dealing with Fatigue. That, ladies and gents, is the end. Thank you for lending me your ears. I very much appreciate it. For those of you, before we get to questions, that have not joined me on LinkedIn yet, please send me an invitation. I would love to be part of your LinkedIn network. And on that note, I'm going to stop sharing and I am going to open up the floor. And as I open up the floor, it's nice to see guys that I didn't see before. And I want to invite you to ask any questions. We've got 3 minutes left around motivation. Anybody, any questions, any comments, anything that you think, gee, but you've talked a lot of nonsense, that you disagree with, please. Part of my developmental journey is that I love feedback. And ultimately, the recipient is the judge of, is that a possibility or not? So I'd love to hear if you disagree with something, want to add something, even better. No comments. I'm not going to drag it out. I hope and believe that Ewald, you raised the hand. Thank you very much for sure. Thanks for biting me out there. Go for it.
Won't leave you hanging. Thank you, Hekkie. Just a question. I'm sort of got the answer, but I just want to know if there's anything that you can add to it that if you get yourself into a situation of overwhelming things to do,
Yes.
and the things, that list seems to be so long that you
Yeah.
actually take a step back, or
Mm.
you go sit down and you don't feel, you don't get that motivation to
Yeah.
know what to
Because,
tackle first.
yeah.
So yeah, if there's anything that you can add to that, because I think the steps that you gave is definitely what we used to say is, how do you eat an elephant? And it's piece by piece. So planning and all of that stuff would pull it apart,
Yeah.
I guess. And so yeah, just a
Yeah. Yeah.
semi question.
Yeah. No, it's a very valid question, Ewald. I appreciate that. If I can suggest what I do in my life, first start by taking a deep breath. Okay. And part of, and Moritz has mentioned it on the chat, part of making sense of the chaos is to put pen to paper. There's a tool called the Eisenhower matrix. If you would like to get an Excel copy of it, Ewald, you're welcome to email me, hekkie@soldati.com. That actually, where you can actually type in all your tasks, and it will group it into the 4 quadrants. Stephen Covey, in the book 7 Habits, the well-known book, dedicated a whole chapter to the Eisenhower matrix. Yeah, you got it right, Moritz. Exactly like that. There's a short video on the Eisenhower matrix, but what it does is to put pen to paper in terms of what is really the most important tasks, and to focus on the things that are urgent and important, or not urgent and important, but for you to focus on the important things first. The rest you should delegate, or it shouldn't be on your list. And I think in that whole equation of delegation, it's also important to be able to say no. You are absolutely entitled to say no to the things that are not your responsibility. Ewald, is that helpful?
Yes, 100%. Thank you very much, Ike.
Good stuff. Only my pleasure. Ladies and gents, thanks a lot for joining us. If you've got any other questions, please mail me. We are over time. I'm quite strict in my own life about time. And please join us again on the 31st of May, I think it is, I said. And I look forward to seeing you then. Have a very blessed weekend, and enjoy the rest. As in resting.
Bye, Hekkie.
All the best.
Bye,
Hekkie.
Hekkie.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kabanai.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, cheers.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye. Cheers, cheers.